There's a big difference between being inside the barbed wire of a warfront base and leaving it. 6 years in the military, Captain Jason Ramirez is deployed to Iraq once and Afghanistan now twice.
I was outside the wire conducting operations daily, every day. This is my first deployment behind a desk, but you know, everybody contributes, and I'm just, you know, glad to be a part of the team.
Ramirez is serving as a liaison officer with 2nd Brigade, 1st Cavalry Division, helping move critical information on operations in a field he knew he would be a part of.
Growing up as a military brat, you know, you're kind of surrounded by it, and you know, you see what it's all about, and so that kind of helps shape me into the person that I am, especially, you know, with my dad being in the Army, the discipline he instilled, my grandfather, his history.
Joe Ramirez Sr. served in the Korean War and was taken prisoner for nearly 3 years. Joe's son was inspired. Despite being surrounded by gang influences that led other family down bad paths, Joe Jr. ended up in Texas A&M's Corps of Cadets, then in the Army. He rose to be a general, one that now leads the A&M Corps as its commandant. Jason Ramirez's A&M ring comes from Corpus Christi, but his love for College Station's campus is clear, along with for his inspiring dad.
He understands exactly what I'm going through, so it's easy to talk with him. He's always been 100% supportive. Of course, you know, he's worried. You know, he doesn't like that I'm over here, but he definitely understands why I chose to come back over here and what I'm doing.
How much of an inspiration is your father to the path that you took?
Just very inspirational, you know, just he's my hero, he's my role model. He's somebody that I've always looked up to, you know. He's everything. I try to, you know, live, you know, conduct myself as an officer like he did. You know, I look up to him a lot.
Wow. Pretty special.
Has he said that before to you?
No. Pretty special. The military career is a tough life. It takes you away from your family a lot. Whether you're training, or whether you're deployed, or whether you're serving overseas in an area where your family can't go, it's challenging, and it was hard. And as I look back on it now, and I've got 5 children, if I could have done anything differently, I'd have spent more time with my kids. But it's nice to hear. Those are the kinds of things that dads live for.
Dad, I love you. I appreciate everything you've done. I will always remember everything that you did for me as a kid, especially all the discipline. Everything that you did was for a reason. I really appreciate it, and I'm the man today because of you.
He's done far more than what I ever would have expected of my son in the military. And again, I never pushed the military on him, but he's chosen to serve, and I'm very, very proud of him for that. And I love him immensely, and he's my hero.
The hard part for any soldier, the separation from family.
It's the one thing about deployments that never gets easier, especially for Major William Craig.
But it is hard to leave kids and my wife, and so they're very supportive. We have a lot of supportive friends, though, in Central Texas, so that makes it easy.
Craig is in Kabul, Afghanistan now with the 31st Combat Support Hospital Unit. The Aggie will be there for most of this year, while his wife and 2 kids are back home in Salado.
Get a hold of him.
We got to eat lunch with David and Colette today after church, and that was great to see them.
Right.
But now technology has made it easier for Craig to see his family every day. It's these moments, he says, that have made his deployment easier.
You know, I am a much more happy and positive person when I get to see my wife at least once a day. So I think my demeanor and attitude, you know, you shape that yourself, but I think my demeanor and attitude every day are a little brighter once I get to see my wife.
Well, that makes me feel good. I'm glad that he feels that way and he wants to see us and talk to us. And it's important to keep those bonds going and to just strengthen your marriage.
But I love yous or news of a baby's first steps or words haven't always been this easily communicated to the war zone. In fact, when Craig's father deployed to Vietnam while he was a newborn, his mother did what she could so her husband could watch their son grow up.
My mother would make 8mm movies of me each month, once a month. And so my dad, once a month, received an 8mm movie. And from the stories I've told, that was an event each month when he got those 8mm movies, because everybody shared everything, you know, when you're deployed. So that's the way he kept up with me, was through those 8mm movies.
Today, his family still has those same movies his father brought home from Vietnam to remind them of the sacrifices and strength they've built their family around.
I just think it's important to stay in touch, and if you can, talk every day, email, Skype, FaceTime, whatever you can do to keep in touch.
Just share things as a way to keep your relationship strong, and it means everything to me to be able to see her and talk to her and hear her voice.
A testament that a picture or a video really is worth 1,000 words, especially to a soldier at war far from home.
I'm glad you found that.
And right now we're at one of the many defensive towers at Bagram Airfield, and you can see just behind me there are many Afghans who have been trained to detect landmines that were left behind by Russians many years ago.
BAF used to be a Russian base, and then once the Russians moved out of Bagram area, it became coalition forces base. So the way the Russians protected their camp was just laying mines around the camp.
And the effort to locate these landmines will also help keep this area of Afghanistan safer for the Afghan people after the American troops and NATO forces leave.
In Afghanistan, actually American third nation help Afghani people.
American soldiers work 12-hour shifts in this tower, and they've also partnered with soldiers from Nepal to make sure that they can secure any threat that comes close to this tower.
Good soldiers.
Co-Chief's security team member Shankar Kumar's job is to protect the perimeter of Bagram Airfield from this defense tower. His weapon is usually an AK-47.
Avoid aiming anything above the shoulders.
But now American soldiers are training them to use less lethal firearms, since children and teenagers are oftentimes the ones approaching the towers.
We arm with AK-47s, which is lethal, obviously, force. A lot of things happen around the perimeter are involving children or young teenagers trying to steal things. We obviously can't shoot them.
The ammunition itself, it's a polymer. It's got a payload in of paint. When it hits, it's designed to explode instead of penetrate into the body.
All right, after I get done firing.
So far, the training has been going smoothly for the coaches, who mainly stand watch at the towers.
They're catching on really quick. They listen, they're attentive. Then when we go on the range, the shot placement's always good.
And the new weapons could also help identify possible threats beyond the wire. This non-lethal weapon uses ammo that breaks apart, so soldiers can also use this to leave a mark on suspicious vehicles approaching the tower. One tactic soldiers from all over the world will continue to use to protect Bagram, even after many American troops have gone home.
Meantime, though, we're focusing just on the daily job of making sure everyone inside this base is safe and secure.
Turn the arrow.
22-year-old Mohammed Youssef Baha's store shines with jewelry. He thinks his country has shined much more since the United States and its allies came here.
So we had more business opportunities, so it helped a lot of Afghan pupils, and I'm really grateful. That's very happy from the business.
And I put a name on it, nameplate.
Down the path, Sami Hamadi's store features all sorts of trinkets.
13, 12 years before was quiet, no business, nothing. Now it's lots better. And the outside, lots of routers, everything fakes, a lot of buildings, a lot of people now rich.
For a market on a coalition base, that of course means coalition business and coalition money. But if a bilateral security agreement is not signed by the end of this year, all the soldiers go away, and so does business.
I hope they will sign it. It's good for Afghanistan, really good. We like to, the president has to sign it as soon as possible.
So I think it's not just mine, it's one of the biggest concerns of all Afghan people, because still we're thinking that the Afghan ANA and the Afghanistan forces, they're not as stable to take all the security.
But whether it's security or business on their minds, and they certainly go hand in hand, April's election will be a major moment.
Because it's going to be for very first time the Afghan people that they will be able to, let's say, elect their president by themselves. Let's say, opportunity for Afghan people.
The opportunities after that election are still a deal to be haggled.
This time, last time was 50 pieces.
I know, yeah.
We did. But the minimum was 50 pieces.
When it comes to protecting a base and its soldiers, being hard-nosed probably helps. When it comes to protecting one's sanity, a wet nose and soft fur definitely does for many.
My ears to tickle.
Definitely seeing a dog or even like dogs outside definitely helps relieve some stress. They're such loving animals.
Eaton holds the rank of Major and holds the title of Combat Stress Animal Assistance Dog. She's the only American service canine that's in Afghanistan with the purpose of providing comfort.
It just reminds you of home, keeps you a little more centered. You know, you're around a dog, something that's normal to everyday life.
So everything that's happening on the home front, operational and combat, you can only control 1% of that. Everything else is out of your control.
The 98th Combat Stress Control Detachment out of Washington State sends trained mental health professionals to deployed soldiers and provides one-on-one assistance or group seminars, like this one for Army reservists out of Pennsylvania, explaining options on a heavy subject with a light touch.
I'm on my way to PT in the morning and get stuck behind heavy traffic, and it looks like I'm going to be late. Motivational song. Motivational song.
You can be infantry, you could be on base. You're still going to have stressors, family, school, finance, anything, and no matter what, you're going to need something to de-stress.
And that something may just be a little time with a major love of being petted. With most deployments at 9 months to a year, you can imagine how important living quarters are to a soldier. At Bagram, many soldiers live in small dorm-style rooms, so getting creative with the space can go a long way.
Hello, I'm Kevin Vines. Welcome to my crib. This right here is my entertainment center that I built out of some scrap woods that I found, and it's to hold all my necessities, I guess you could call it. A couple of things I buy over here just to make it look more like home, to make it feel like home, or home away from home. This is considered my living room. That's my kitchen you came through. This is my living room here. And this is my bedroom where, you know, I spend a little time.
This is my little foyer area as you come in. I don't have a roommate right now. This is like my little food section area. And then this is like my little table with all my supplements and food. I have a TV and a microwave. I kind of divided it off because when I had a roommate, you know, just to have a little bit of privacy. So, and this is like my actual room area. I have 2 wall lockers. One is like for all the military gear, and then, well, that's all I have is military gear. This is like my little twin bed. Try to make it as close to home, so I got this from Walmart. Got this from the local shops here. My name is Sergeant First Class Leggett. You just seen my crib, but I gotta go on to the next mission, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.